welcome to this very special edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast featuring our discussion of the FX original series Fargo, episode 10, the finale of the third season, entitled Somebody to Love. That's what I was hoping for. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I didn't finish it.
Just a couple of quick bits of info before I introduce my Freddie Mercury over there. You can check out all of our content at www.boobtubebuddies.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit, or email us at boobtubebuddies@gmail.com to get in on the conversation, which many of you have throughout the season, and especially, I would say, since this season is coming to an end, follow us and subscribe to the podcast so you can continue to check in with us on future shows that you may be interested in. So anyway, my name is Foxman.
You got Orange is the New Black going on right now, right?
That is absolutely true. In all good time, in due time, in due time.
Oh, okay. All right.
But for now, my name is Foxman, and I'm joined by the Two Truths top dog to my Two Truths trash bag. What's up, Nathan?
Not much, man. Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I won that Two Truths game. You have no idea.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little fucking nervous about it, to be totally honest.
So let's kick it off this way then. So
God.
you told me to come up with a challenge for you, and I've been on Boob Tube Buddy shows in the past, but I've never had to come up with a challenge like this. So my thought,
I'm gonna be sick to my stomach.
You've been musical in the past.
That's true.
So
I do like music.
Yep. So I thought, what better way to put your music abilities to the test than by forcing you to freestyle?
No.
Yeah, rap. Yeah, 2 separate times in this episode. All right, 2 separate times. You're gonna have to freestyle. So I'm gonna call it out. And whatever scene we're talking about, you have to freestyle about.
No.
Can you do it? Are you up to the task?
I mean, I will do it. It's certainly not going to be good, and I can't wait for people to fucking cringe out of their goddamn skeletal system.
Yeah, I mean, so most freestyles rhyme. That's one thing, but yours don't have to. It can just be like poetry, like jam poetry, you know?
Yeah, I can rhyme. It's more about doing it in time.
Well, that's the thing. Also, I'm not gonna give you a fat beat, because
there's
no way that
dear God,
there's no way that the timing works out between what I'm doing and what you're. So yeah. So you're just gonna go for it. All right.
And just you had thrown to the Orange is the New Black, which is our newest show that started this week. But we also had another couple of season finales this week. We had American Gods and actually the other podcast that I am doing, which is Better Call Saul. I won the Two Truths on that one, which I know is hard to fucking imagine after the
well done.
Hamish Link slaughter that happened in this season between you and I.
Hamish Link slaughter.
But my punishment to Jables, and he gets super anxious if any responsibility gets put on him, and especially if it's without any warning. So I basically started off hello and then threw it instantly over, his punishment being that he had to host the podcast, and it is comedy gold. It's so funny. The first 5 minutes of the episode, if nothing else, check out the first 5 minutes of the Better Call Saul season finale.
So excited.
It's goddamn hilarious. He just melts down. He goes to try to throw to social media, and all he can think of is MySpace, and it's just really
check us out on MySpace.
Yeah, it's really good.
Google us. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really funny. So okay. Anyway, let's do a quick scale of 1 to 10 for the episode and the season, and then we'll go to our first segment. So
we're kicking it off with that.
You know that this is going to happen. This is basically my weekly punishment to you. So
it really is.
So what do you think?
I'm so bad at scales of 1 to 10. All right. Okay. 7.
Okay. For the episode?
7 for the episode.
And for the season?
8.
Okay. I think that I'd give the episode... I think that I might actually flip that around and give the episode an 8. Not that I thought it was a great episode. Honestly, as a finale, I think it's less than an 8. But as a Fargo episode, I would give it an 8. And you're going to hear me complain about it. So that's a pretty
that's
weak
fine.
8.
No. I'm sure. I've got good and bad.
Yeah,
I've got the good and bad.
But I'm going to give it a season 7, which, God, I haven't had a Fargo season drop below a 9.5 before.
Yeah,
So,
that's the bummer. That's the bummer. And I won't say that season 2, I really liked season 2 a lot. But there were points in season 2 where I was like, I missed the charm of season 1. You know?
Yep.
The charm of season 1, the like dark character in the modern day, the devil reincarnate, into Lorne Malvo, and Martin Freeman's performance, like just season 1 just embodied Fargo the film. And season 2 was almost nothing like Fargo the film, except in tone and in spirit.
Yep.
And this comes a little closer to season 1 for me in terms of its setting, obviously, because it's more modern day, but also like, this family battle of season 2 is very different than the one-on-one, rivalries that happened in season 1 and now season 3. And so I really dig that quite a bit. It just didn't it didn't execute quite as well as season 1.
I'm sorry, this season or season 2?
This season didn't execute as well as season 1, but it came closer to me in familiarity with season 1.
Well, I like the complexities of the conflict of multiple factions in season 2.
Yeah, and I could get that. That makes sense because you never really know. It's just a lot of people kind of going to war, and that is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when we actually get really fleshed out motivations, well, except for like the shadow organization. But there was a cool developed mystery to it that actually ended with a really whimsical scene with Mike ending up basically at a desk job for the org. So,
right.
So I thought that was great. Whereas this one, it seemed like there were just a lot of split ends, like a lot of things that kind of didn't lead anywhere, which is a bummer for a very complex show like Fargo.
I agree. Now, I will be fair. I think there are things that went over my head in this season.
I agree, and to some extent, I can always allow for that because things going over my head is really, it's a common occurrence, Nathan. It's a daily thing that I suffer through. But I think that if you make a season as nebulous as this one, when the first 2 seasons were kind of grounded in this really specific reality that is Fargo and the lives of these people in Minnesota, this one just did not really fit the mold at all, and I just found it very underwhelming.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Now, but goddamn, were there great episodes in this season? Yes,
totally, and great scenes. I mean, truly, there were moments that rivaled the best moments of any season. I'm just talking about it as a whole.
No, that's So that's a very, very good point because we could dive in and we could be really molecular about it and say, like, in the end, did it disappoint me altogether? No, like I'm not ultimately disappointed. And it's still, because of those scenes, it still stands well as a season of Fargo. And that's kind of a nice thing because there are a lot of shows where there's just seasons that you write off entirely. And I don't write this off. I just think of it as the weakest, probably.
Totally. And by the way, I think it was last week, I had mentioned that Noah Hawley had mentioned in an interview, like, stay tuned, this may be the last season. He actually came out and said, well, season 4, look for it in about 3 or 4 years.
I can deal with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that too, but god damn it, like the Curb Your Enthusiasm thing of, I'll get to it when I get to it, it's a little irksome.
It is, but if that season sucks, man.
With that much
that
time.
Better be goddamn good. I mean, I watch Sherlock, so I'm familiar with the fucking weight, So
True.
But yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad. So, all right, well, let's just talk about the episode because that gives me some questions.
Well, let's. We have one little thing we like to get to. Let's keep with the formality. I mean, we got our last episode, and let me actually, instead of saving this for the end, let me say this right now. And if you guys listened to the first episode, you heard me say this. This is the first time that Nathan and I have literally ever talked outside of like communicating via Slack and text message. So like,
and in 10 weeks, I haven't met you.
No,
this is it.
Never. I've never seen Nathan in actuality, and I have to say, like the chemistry was pretty solid, man. I mean, I know I really had to carry you through a lot of it. But,
you did, yeah.
but I seriously enjoyed it, so I just wanted to point that out before the end when people are like totally tired of my rapping and have tuned out.
Oh, dude, I've had a blast. This has been so fun.
Amen. Okay, so you ready to kick it over to 140 characters or less used to summarize the entire episode? A little segment. What do we like to call it, Nathan?
Summon it up in a tweet.
Oh, yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up, oh, yeah, we're summon it up. Oh, yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up and up.
All right, so to be fair, we could not be further out of the Christmas time frame in this season.
I love that that was even a promo thing that they were like promoting it as a, when we had like was it last episode where it skips forward a few months, and now at the end of this episode we have skipped forward 5 fucking years. But
I mean, and there's a shot in this season, and this still ties into my tweet. There's a shot in this episode, I should say, where it's a very traditional Fargo road. It's actually where Nikki and Emmett have the showdown. Right? It's a very traditional Fargo road with the field. I'm just used to seeing that road covered in snow. But it wasn't. So this is irrelevant. However, all of my tweets for the past few weeks have been in Christmas carols. So this week is no different. You ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
E had his day, V got away, G has her fun, she almost won. Nikki got very picky and made an error by aiming quick with her gun. Was this good or could it have been sadder? In the end, does nothing really matter? It's season 3, cool season 3, well, season 3, fine season 3.
That's so good. Best one yet. Best one yet. That was awesome.
All right, boom.
Okay.
All right, your go.
Right. I guess I'm just gonna try to give mine a little bit of flow so I can start getting myself ready for the absolute embarrassment that's to come. So finale's done. So let's review the Deadpool. Emmett, Nikki, Mimo, Random Cop. The Poor Fool. First half was indelible. Back 9 wasn't great. Sigh speech unintelligible. The saddest of fates. And that is summoned it up in a tweet.
Okay. Hey, you know what? You're going to have to rap better than that.
Well, considering that one was completely prepared ahead of time, there is literally no chance that it's going to even sniff that one in terms of quality.
No, that was really, really good. I know for a fact you to be good at rapping. Might we plug our Man in Black?
Oh my God, seriously?
That we did for Westworld.
Maybe the best thing that Boob Tube Buddies has done. I mean, like, it's serious. Okay, so what it is it's inspired pretty much kind of by the Men in Black theme song, and it's about the Man in Black from Westworld, but it's like, it's not like some like karaoke thing. Like, Mothman wrote up this whole song, sings the chorus. Somebody on YouTube pointed out he sounds like the old man molester from Family Guy that's always going after Chris, which is fucking hilarious.
Here comes the black. You're right. Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's so funny. Best comment that I think maybe we've ever gotten, and so funny. But Nathan and I both rap on that, so you should go. And I mean, a lot of you are listening on the YouTube page. You should check that out real quick. But okay, so let's talk the episode. Let's talk the episode. This is off to a good start. All right, so where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about specific scenes, likes, dislikes, random thoughts, questions?
Yeah. Well, okay, so my first thought has to do with the first scene. So, I mean, let's just talk about really quickly. I just thought, so one of the strengths of this season, and just Fargo in general, that it didn't let me down on, is just cool directing and cinematography.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, like, yeah, there was almost no complaints this season I had about the way that they did that. And the one that I did that we addressed on air, where it was like, why wasn't Nikki shown behind the car after she was beat up, was addressed later.
It was.
I think they really had a vision for the way they were directing and showing things. And this episode opened up with this is a true story thing consistently on the pages. It was very like Wes Anderson, the way the camera was sort of like moving on a dolly across these pages.
That was my favorite opening of the entire season.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Really cool. And I love that you think that it's kind of done, and then it comes back to him, and you see him flip another page or something like that, and you get it was very cool, off to a very strong start.
Yeah, and this is a true story thing throughout the season was really cool, and they did some different things this season with the way they would fade out words. I pointed that out early in this series, but what's interesting is you look back at the opener of season 1, and it was the German thing, right? It was Aria, or what's the guy's name?
Yuri Gurka.
And so when I first saw that, I was like, is this going to become relevant? And it's not mentioned at all in this episode, but its relevance came 2 episodes ago. And so it just had me thinking about the opening of every episode, just this one particularly. And I loved the sequences that opened almost every episode.
Me too, and I generally do. And honestly, when I give the season a low rating, it's kind of within the context and framework of looking at the other seasons. Because if I just watched this all by itself, had never seen another season of Fargo, I think I'd be blown away with the way it looks. I think, yeah, maybe I'd be a little disappointed with the pacing. But again, without context, I don't know that would have really disappointed me, because the openings all look so cool. And honestly, like the scene of Varga eating ice cream, like fiendishly in the bathroom stall. Yeah. I swear to God, it is an image that I will take to my grave.
Yeah.
Like, that was horrifying.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. What if you told someone to watch the 3 seasons of Fargo backwards? Not that I would ever like want to sacrifice someone's experience that way, but if I had a guinea pig and it was like an experiment, like the only tying factor of them together is Mr. Wrench, right?
Yes, maybe. I mean, he's definitely the only live character.
Yeah, so what knowledge are they growing from season to season? It's an anthology show. I don't think that there's a whole lot.
I'm trying to think. I can't come up with much.
Yeah. I also wonder if Mr. Wrench, they leave that open and he's still alive, if they're going to carry that into the season 4 3 or 4 years from now. Who cares?
I think that they have to. At this point, they've established a link. Although, of course, they stopped killing off Kenny on South Park, so who knows?
That's a good point. Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all. The opening sequences are great. This is a true story stuff, held true to Fargo in general. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can just dive through by character by character and how we wrapped up each character's sort of story arc.
Okay, well, let's start with Emmett, because early on it seemed like maybe he was going to be the main character, other than possibly Gloria. But so let's start with Emmett. Yeah. And so let's see, they have him sign off basically to what we know is him essentially bankrupting the company, liquidating the assets, and selling off the shell of it to Goldfarb, right? Mm-hmm. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's
okay,
it.
So...
No, yeah.
And then we have the standoff, where he pulls the gun from Mimo, which shame on you, Mimo, for allowing a dunce like Emmett to do that to you.
Yeah, okay, agreed. But then also real shame on Emmett for behaving like a dumbass after he finally had a gun on Varga, right?
Yeah.
Like, he holds the gun up and then falls victim to Varga telling him that there's a fingerprint sensor on the gun, and then, doesn't see Varga getting closer.
And doesn't notice Mimo creeping behind him,
from behind? Yeah. My wife literally went, "Idiot, what are you doing? He's behind you. Look behind you."
And to be fair, there's a million other ways that could have played out where I would have bought them diffusing the situation. For example, Varga saying, "You can kill me, but then I'll kill your wife and children." Something like that. And then it's like, okay, all right, scene out. But, I mean, Mimo creeping around, how does he not see that? That's the only thing literally occurring movement-wise in his peripherals.
Mimo's very quiet, don't you know?
Well, I mean...
He's very, very, very
quiet. That is actually kind of true.
I
feel like in his dance scenes, we always see him and we never hear the sounds of him dancing around and stuff. So maybe that's true.
Yep. And so this liquidating the assets thing... What did you think about the legality of that was told later by the auditor, that's a totally legal process?
I don't know anything about anything, so I'm sure that's totally fine. I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. Does that scream to you that Varga's business model is that he is the muscle that comes in and forces companies to do this for other people, or was he working with Goldfarb?
I think I feel like he's definitely working with Goldfarb, only in the way that she reacted to Emmett essentially accusing her of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really know. And also, I will say, and I'm going to totally butcher this. I read it online, so it's not my own thought. But somebody online was saying that the scene where Varga is talking about that human beings have no intrinsic value, and then talking about a cat has value and that it entertains or makes a human happy, this and that, but humans are only as valuable as the money that they make. That is almost verbatim a direct quote of that super rich conservative power maker who funded the Trump campaign, Mercer. He literally said almost that verbatim about the human beings have no intrinsic value other than the money they make. cats have intrinsic value and that they make human beings happy. It was literally almost pulled directly from a quote that he had, I believe, in the New York Times.
Oh, wow, Jesus.
Yeah, so kind of interesting.
And Glory even says to him, like, you can't actually believe that, right?
Yeah, and there were actually a couple, and I know we're kind of dancing around different parts here, but I really like what was the other quote that he had in that where he's talking about, like, are you familiar with the Russian saying, the past is unpredictable? And then she says, I'm pretty sure that you made that up, and he just says, possibly. It's like one of my favorite parts in the whole episode.
It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, because he keeps saying this shit that's just quotable and absurd.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, so Emmett's role as the, and we've talked about this a few episodes, but like, the soul that's being battled for kind of thing. Where do you think Emmett ended up in terms of his role in this whole story? I don't think he's the protagonist.
I think that he ended up, first off, I think that he was an amoral character, but I don't think that he was evil, and I don't think that he was deserving of the fate necessarily that he got. He was really just a pawn in a game. He wasn't the one who initially contacted them. He essentially just got dragged through the whole situation. And while was he a spineless cretin throughout? Totally. But did he actually, like, commit any evil, like, truly evil acts? I don't know that he did.
No, I don't either. And so later when Nikki's about to kill him, there's a moment where she says the words that the God character told her to say. And I literally thought, like, this isn't the Wicked, right? Like,
I think that's why she got killed, honestly. That was my thoughts in that moment, is that because she had put her crosshairs on the wrong target, because the Wicked was clearly Varga. So the fact that she trained her crosshairs on Emmett, I thought to mean that she was no longer worthy of the quote-unquote mission that she had been sent on by Ray Wise's character, and that's why she met her demise.
I thought that was a really cool scene, obviously, the showdown between Nikki and Emmett.
Yes.
I think it's deserving of a freestyle rap.
God damn it. Okay, so is this the first one right here that I gotta do?
This is number one. That's it. Number one.
Okay. Nikki Swango, putting more butts in seats than Fandango. Dodge Durango. Don't know why I said that, but it rhymed with Swango. Wanna pronounce it right, but I like that slang, though. That's it. I got nothing.
That's fine. Swango.
Oh my god, my skin is
Swango.
My skin is crawling. Especially because as soon as I started, I realized it's definitely not Swango, it's Swangle. But
no, it's Swango.
Oh, is it? Is it not? Are you sure?
Yeah,
it's not
like Fandango.
Swangle?
No, it's Nikki Swango, like Fandango.
Is that just canon? We've made that canon now because I don't know if it's right.
No, wait. There's no way it's Swangle.
I swear to God, I think it's Swangle. I hope that I'm wrong because it makes my rap like 1% better.
Oh God, have I been calling her the wrong shit? Hold on. Nope. Nikki Swango.
It is Swango for sure.
Like Rango Fandango.
All right, well, I like it. I don't know if it's right, but I like it. I don't trust it, but I like it.
I don't trust it. Well, anyways. But, okay, so now
does it matter
actually
that I
talking about that
actually
scene.
rap about Emmett at all right there?
Well, you said that she was putting butts in seats.
Yeah, that's true.
And his butt was the seat she was trying to put in.
Sure, why not?
What I don't know what I just said. That didn't make sense. Whatever.
You. I appreciate you justifying it for me.
I'm embarrassing myself through your challenge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about then. Well, okay. So he gets popped in the head. Did you find that at all satisfying?
Oh, Emmett at the end? No. I mean, maybe a little, not deserving, but kind of like...
But he never saw it coming.
So,
this is not... I mean, yes, it sucks that his life has ended, but in terms of what he actually witnesses of it happening, he just basically goes out on top. Like his life has recovered almost totally. He supposedly has $20 million in an offshore account. He's living nice. Yeah, his best friend is a little, soft in the brain now, but he essentially has made it out of the other side. and he dies without knowing it's coming. It's not like there's a gun to his forehead. It's to the back of his head. He does not see it coming.
That's true.
So the onus, or not the onus, the consequences of that only falls really on his family.
Yes, that's true. If you think about it from a consequence perspective, that's true. But if you think about it from the perspective of earlier, when Nikki was about to kill him, the question she asked was,
"Can you go any lower?"
Can you go any lower? And I loved that. I really thought that was a cool question. I thought her coming out of the car with a gun.
I was hoping he'd respond with lower.
I thought he was going to get to the ground.
Yeah, he starts doing like, oh shit, why can't I think of it? When you go under the thing? Not hula hooping. God damn it. What's it called?
Oh shit, it's the limbo.
Limbo. Oh my god. What a jagweed. I couldn't think of limbo.
Well, I don't think of the limbo. I think of the dance that everyone does at weddings. Slide to the left, slide to the right.
The Cupid Shuffle?
How low can you go? Yeah, no. I mean, the Cupid Shuffle is one dance people do. The, I can't remember it. Not Mambo number 5. What the fuck? Anyways, it's the one, how low can you go? Can you go down low?
I've literally never heard this song. I think you just made it up.
Yes, you have. It's the, oh, God. People are going to comment all over this. Like, how do you not remember the name?
This is a really rough minute and a half, I feel like, of the podcast.
All to paint a picture of what would have happened if it had gotten physically lower. Anyway,
the worst tangent ever.
Nikki asks him, can you go any lower? And he's like, if you'd asked me yesterday, no. But now you're pointing a gun at me, yes. And in that moment, at his lowest, he looked at her and said, do it, right? He had basically come to terms with the fact that he needed to die. And he needed to die because of everything he'd put his brother through in life, of the failure that he was as a husband, as all of these things, right? And maybe he wasn't deserving of a violent death, but in the end, he was a character who had come to terms with the fact that if his brother was dead, he didn't deserve to live either. But the redeeming thing for Emmett is that he wasn't killed at his lowest. He survived that. He somehow made it out. And he lived on for another 5 years to get out of his rock bottom and to climb up and to make his life better. And then after getting that little bit of satisfaction that he gets for not being a total shithead, he still gets what he deserves, which is the death. You know?
Yeah,
so if you look at it purely from Emmett's perspective.
That just doesn't play well to me. First off, the jump forward 5 years, kind of jarring. Did not really enjoy it.
I knew you'd hate
Dude,
that.
I just don't like jumps in time. Like, I feel like we are committed to what is happening in the present of a show. When it skips forward 5 years, I'm like, what else has transpired during that time? You know what has transpired? Another 300 fucking episodes of Fargo during that time, essentially.
Good point. Yeah,
so,
true.
like, I feel very disconnected to the timeline that you're in when you jump forward. And the fact that we jump forward 5 years, I don't know. And honestly, the pacing in the middle of this season was so slow and dragged so hard that with how intensely quick this episode happened, the deaths all felt a little rushed and kind of sloppy to me. Emmett's more so than anyone else.
Yeah.
And I get that maybe this is a hot take and people listening probably like the episode more than me. And maybe some people really like it. Maybe other people just really like Noah Hawley and are kind of apologists for the season. I just personally I wanted to like it more than I ended up actually liking it, which is kind of a shitty thing because it's the first time I've ever felt that way about anything that he's done.
Fargo. That's fair. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel that way about Emmett, and I think for the reason that I just sort of described. Like, I subscribe to that a little bit. I did feel that way, that it was sort of an, not unjustifiable, but like a rushed and not very ceremonious death for Nikki. Which, was fine, and we're jumping into a different character, I know, but if we're talking about character deaths, which we predicted last week who would die, and we were almost right, for Nikki, she has gotten herself on this path of basically all I'm going to do is avenge the love of my life, and she's become our anti-hero this season. I didn't expect to root for Nikki like I actually did. She's dabbling in this sort of moral ambiguity. She's our gray anti-hero character. And what you want for someone like that is to die having accomplished the thing that they set out to accomplish. And she didn't, you know? And maybe you're 100% right, which is that she was so close, and the thing that you're expecting to happen, which is that she's gonna kill Emmett and then die, she fucked up.
Yeah.
She looked at Emmett and then went, oh, this isn't the person. I'm trying to remember the words. Oh, you're not the wicked. I was told that I would remember this when the time came, and I'm not remembering it. Fuck. And then she dies because she screwed up. But it's just unceremonious for a character I really grew to like.
Another thing I will say in a positive is that in a season of, and I'm going to use this word again, nebulous and sometimes murky motivations and random coincidence, I will say I really like that they very much cleared it up that Nikki's motivations with Ray are not in doubt at all. She definitely did all of it out of love for him, and unfortunately she just got the wrong target in Emmett, and that's maybe why her character got the axe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. As I was sort of talking myself through it, it sort of made a little bit more sense, but I still think it was unceremonious. But Ray's a kitten now.
That was a pretty good line, only because, like, I think that that moment, like, because she thinks that she is essentially carrying out not only what her plan is, but almost like a divine plan, but none of it's coming to fruition. The words are not coming out correctly. She's not saying none of it's playing out the way that it should have after that bowling scene. And again, it's all because she let Varga get away and then trained immediately on who her ultimate target was. The wrong target, Emmett.
Right. Yeah. Which is just a bummer. Like, you wanted her to be the thing that the saving grace of the season, but yeah, she got her sights focused on something through emotion. She thought the brother, the guy who killed him, that's my target, and she was just wrong.
Yeah. Also, kind of a bummer that just some random cop who was not in the rest of the episode was the one who did this. It would have made, I don't know, maybe 5% better for me if it had been Gloria's deputy who did it.
Oh, but had also died?
Yeah. I mean, it just would have been something more from the season that tied into and had some ending to it.
That's really fair, because now you've just got another loose end in that character, right? Like, what happened to that dude, you know? And if there had been you tie that together, then it feels like a lot less loose ends.
It does, and not that it would have made it so much more emotional or impactful, but a little bit, because we like that character. Better. We know that he is a genuinely sweet guy. He shied away from violence. We know in his scene with Yuri, who, by the way, died off camera, I guess. The fuck is that? So it would have made it so much nicer for me if it had been him. And I would have been sad, actually, kind of, that he died. So
Yuri got sucked into black and white Jew world.
I guess so, yeah. Like, so that's weird. That's weird. You know what? All right, let's recalibrate. Send it over to Kristen, who again is starting up Orange is the New Black, which you guys should check that out. And actually, the Boob Tube Buddies, we're still going to keep posting them on our feed for the Boob Tube Buddies podcast. But actually, there is a Boob Tube Buddies feed now, so you guys should subscribe to that if you like the coverage of Big Little Lies, American Horror Story, and now currently, and Feud, also Betty and Joan, but now currently Orange is the New Black. But anyway, Kristen, thank you so much. Here she is doing the last Darn Tootin'.
Darn Tootin'. Oh, hey there, everybody. This is your Boob Tube Buddy, Kristen, for your final Fargo facts. I'm super sad. Anyway, let's kick this pig. First fun fact is, love is in the air, don't you know? Actors Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst, Ed and Peggy, apparently wanted to keep the Bloomquists live and kicking. As of January 17, these two lovebirds became engaged in real life. Fact 2. Don't bet on a fourth season. Holly has been candid that the current Duel McGregor season might be its last. There's only a certain amount of storytelling you can tell in that vein, he told the crowd at ATX. So you should completely abandon your summer in Minnesota plans? Not quite. Holly said that he felt the same way about seasons 1 and 2. So, oh well, we'll see. Final Fargo fact. I think I'm going to cry. After Noah Hawley impressed FX with 2 critically lauded seasons of Fargo, the network hired Hawley to create Legion, FX joint venture with Marvel Television. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the Boob Tube Buddies coverage on that TV gem as well. It's been so wonderful with you guys. Okay, then. See you later.
Thank you again to Kristen for doing that all season long. We definitely appreciate it. Let's go ahead and talk about what to me was the best scene of the entire episode. And honestly, I really love the first half of the episode. A big part of it being this scene. So there's the kid that kind of leads Varga and all his henchmen into the thing. It's a great shot, like a sideways, like a platformer shot of them moving down the street. Really cool.
Mm-hmm. What does Varga say to the kid when he first opens the window?
I do not specifically recall.
My wife and I were arguing about it.
Did I sound like Jeff Sessions right there? I do not specifically recall.
Yes, I do not specifically recall.
Come on, no politics here, Nathan.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So my wife and I were talking about it, trying to remember our rudimentary 2 years of Spanish in college. And I thought Varga said Vámonos or vamos, but I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me what was being said in that scene, because I thought I understood rudimentary Spanish, but I didn't think that made sense in the context of it.
If he's telling him to get out of there, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I just maybe he was asking like, where are we going, or where do I go, or something like that, but I just didn't think that.
So would that be Adonde?
Yeah, Adonde vamos. Adonde vámonos would be where are we going.
Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Okay, but anyway, so they get inside.
Sorry, tangential.
No problem.
Man, this episode.
I really like the just the whole the mousetrap feel of it. Like they get let in there. Yeah. There's notes and all sorts of stuff leading them. They get upstairs, and so there's the last note. And Varga, I really like how shaken he was. He was completely off his game. Yeah. You know, like he looked fucking scared, especially when the storage unit. Okay, you know what? Actually, and it's just because the image is playing in my head. Kind of a bummer that storage unit door opened up at the fucking like a turtle was pulling on the levee to open that thing up. What the hell was that? Varga would not have gotten away if it hadn't opened up at like
that's
a
true,
quarter
and
mile
not
per
just
hour.
that. We would have gotten a cool scene of Mr. Wrench. Instead, we just sort of hear it from the elevator. Yep. I thought the same thing where I'm like, but watching Varga's face turn genuinely scared while that elevator door is closing, I thought was fucking
Me
awesome.
too. I really like that. And the look of betrayal on Mimo's face right before he gets his also off-camera death. God damn it. I did not realize how many off-camera deaths there had been. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. Well, those are important characters too. Like there's some off-screen
kind of, yeah.
That you... Yeah, but you would have expected those to be on screen.
I don't mind it for the henchies, but I mean, when it's like a main character, not he's a main character, but like a character who's been in almost every episode, like Mimo. I don't know. Didn't like that. Also, how did Varga so he climbed into the elevator shaft, and then does he look like he has the physicality to be pulling off fucking John Wick moves over there?
No, and why did he take off his jacket? Was it like prohibiting his amazing flexibility? Like I can't imagine that he got like superhero powers just by taking off the jacket. Like jacket or not, that dude would have had trouble climbing up.
That's a fair question. I wonder if there is some actual reason he took that off. That maybe one of our. You know what I've really liked about our YouTube listeners this episode? They've corrected us on things. They've set things straight. They've answered questions. Like, it has honestly been one of the best shows we've ever done in terms of actual feedback back and forth. For example,
that's great.
Actual user on YouTube, I See Spots. That's the actual name. I'm not just like being a dummy. But I See Spots after last episode said, it seems that the widow Goldfarb must be working with Varga because Varga wheedled his way into her business and she became a partner like he is doing with Stussy. Surely Varga must be aware of their meetings, but it seems he's not doing anything to get rid of Goldfarb, and she acted very suspicious in her meeting with Gloria. So first, and this was before last night's episode came out. So let me just say, spot on.
Well done.
Yeah, you definitely see spots. Spot on. Oh God, dad joke.
You do see spots. That makes a whole lot of sense, because I did question how he was like. I'm like, there's no way this whole Goldfarb deal is actually going to get him out of the Vargas situation.
Agreed.
I never thought that. Neither of us thought that was going to work. So, but yeah. So the last thing I would say about the elevator thing is I agree that it was bad to have what's his name, Mimo.
Yeah, Mimo.
Finding Mimo. So it was difficult to see him die off screen, but it led to, if he had died on screen, you wouldn't have gotten the cool scene of Vargas just standing in the elevator listening to them die. And so I think they had to make a little sacrifice there and say, it's better to show Varga close the door and then just deal with his betrayal emotionally as he goes down in this elevator listening to the fighting
But
happen.
couldn't we have had a little bit of both? Like maybe the door closes, we see Varga's face, and then we see a quick Mimo turning around slowly, seeing it, and then like just getting. We don't even have to see the blood of it, but just like the shotgun blast going off. Then
True.
Just some.
Or if the last.
I don't know.
If the last thing Vargas saw through the cracked elevator door was Mimo get shot.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of blood splatters through like the tiny crack or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Small complaint. Very small complaint, but that's just...
You, me, let's make Fargo. You and I.
It would be garbage. I mean, no offense to you. Maybe you could carry it along a little bit.
No, it would be garbage.
But, yeah.
It would be garbage. We'll find another city in Minnesota and make a show.
Yeah, we're definitely armchair quarterbacks on this.
Fargo's in North Dakota, by the way. I don't know why this whole show takes place in Minnesota.
Is that... What? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Fargo's in North Dakota. Fargo's not in Minnesota.
I don't know anything about anything, and I'm not going to open my mouth here because I embarrassed myself so badly with the Minnesota Gophers thing. No, I'm just not even going to mention anything with that.
Fargo's it's on the border, but like state, like Bemidji is in Minnesota, right? And St. Cloud and all these other places that they're mentioning, Fergus Falls and or whatever. Like I remember that being a city. All these places are in Minnesota, but yeah, Fargo's in North Dakota.
Huh.
So fuck this shit.
Oh
That's all I'm trying
God,
to say.
here he goes again. All right, let's talk about the final scene because we need to. So I'm curious what you think. Like, first off, let's just talk about the setup for it. Like that he gets randomly nabbed by facial security software recognition. Which is there something with that technology that is significant to the theme of technology and the failings of technology?
I mean, only that we never got the only resolution we got to Gloria and her technology thing was that it started working
after the magical hug, and then did anything come of that? I guess the facial security software nabbing him.
That's it.
Kind of.
Yeah, something happened in Gloria's favor that wouldn't have happened otherwise because it would have involved technology, and Gloria sucks with technology. I
know
guess.
what I call that,
I'm
Nathan?
making that shit
I call
up.
that pretty goddamn tenuous.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay, so that's the setup. She goes in.
Well, the setup is that she works for the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Which is a little satisfying because one, you get a few things with Gloria in this episode. You get the auditor explaining the tie-in of Varga to Emmett, the whole thing, because this whole season there have been a lot of parties involved. There's Varga, there's Goldfarb, there's Emmett, there's Ray, and there's Nikki, and then it's separate from this there's Gloria. And Gloria has this suspicion based on a random crime that happens that Stussy means something, but that's like all she has. And
separate from all of that, can we just say, separate from literally everything else that you just said there that actually plays into the thing is I'm sorry, I can't even remember the fucking character's name. The writer,
Oh god damn it. No, why did you play her? Ernesto? No,
I'm pretty sure it's not Ernesto.
Her not dad.
Thaddeus Mobley.
Thaddeus
and what
Mobley,
was the point
her
of
father-in-law.
Thaddeus Mobley's magical box?
Oh wow, good
and
question.
I get that maybe the robot thing was Gloria, like she's just kind of flitting around. How can I help? How can I help? You know, like, I get that maybe there's that, but the magical box, Thaddeus Mobley, a whole episode on that? I just don't know.
Well, we agreed that episode sucked.
yeah, you're right. Why drudge it up? Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. I'm sorry.
We wrote that episode. Hey, I got this. Hey, YouTube, somebody explain the season to us.
Just write
There
it
you go.
all out.
Done.
Yeah.
Challenge. But anyway, so because there's all of this, I always was thinking, like, how is she possibly going to tie in all this Varga shit? Like, she can discover as much as she wants from Emmett, but she's not going to find the Varga shit. But the IRS can't. And to get Gloria up to speed on everything that was going down was kind of satisfying for your protagonist in the end to kind of have a clear lay of the land and understanding of what has been at risk for the last 10 episodes. So though it was a little exposition-y, I was glad that the auditor guy was able to actually express to Gloria Varga's tie-in with everything. And he was spot on. He explained what happened. So then at the end, to see Gloria, who has, kind of gotten her shit handed to her at the police office and has been, replaced as chief and hasn't been made to feel very important, to see that someone has seen her value and that she has found her home at the Department of Homeland Security, supposedly doing pretty well because she's in a pretty important meeting 5 years later. So she must have done pretty well for herself at that department. It was satisfying for me to at least see that she was doing well.
I agree. I like that too. That was actually pretty nice. It showed some serious progression in a character, which is a good thing. So she goes in, she starts talking to him. We don't know if he recognizes her yet, but it comes out pretty quickly that that just because he's not addressing her like that doesn't mean he doesn't remember who she is.
Right. No, yeah. He probably does. And there was a lot of stuff that happened in this scene. It went on for quite a while. I remember hitting the button and being like, oh my God, there's 7 minutes left in the episode. And that was still going on. And so I feel like to explain this scene best, it has to come in rhyme. There has to be maybe a rhythm and a rap, a freestyle rap.
I for a quick second there, I thought, what the fuck is he on about right now? Okay. So I'm talking about Gloria, Varga, things like that.
Yeah, them at that table, the interrogation.
Okay. Gloria and technology. Last episode was Aporia. This one, somebody to love. You dig? Enough with Emmett's wig, like a fake porno between Ray and Nikki on camera on the couch for a quickie. I still haven't mentioned Varga.
Try.
VM Varga loves that ice cream. Living the dream, and he schemes. It seems that he's living the dream like a keem. Watch the. I got nothing.
You went so well done. Oh, you went far longer on that one. Well done.
I just I felt bad after the first one that I didn't really address. Well, no, even in this one I didn't. I didn't talk at all about. Fuck it, whatever.
Nah.
It's definitely not getting
good
better
punishment.
than that. So.
Well, what did happen in the scene?
Okay, so they end up having their back and forth. Honestly, I'm curious what you think about the actual ending of that scene, because that's
the cliffhanger.
That's the end of the whole season, really. So
you've got these.
What do you think?
These two infallible, Gloria, who represents the ultimate good, Varga represents the ultimate evil, and they're finally sitting across from one another, both feeling like they've got the upper hand. And so the ambiguity of whether or not Varga is right. You anticipate when a bad guy says, in 5 minutes, someone's going to walk out through that door and say, I'm free to go, and you won't be able to argue with it. You anticipate that that would happen. But Gloria is very confident that that's not going to happen. She describes to him the situation. And so you get this sort of ultimate good, ultimate evil staring at each other, just sort of looking and waiting the 5 minutes, because he literally addresses that it's going to be in 5 minutes and there's nothing left to say. So let's shut up.
And doesn't the clock go by more than 5 minutes? Or am I crazy? I couldn't really actually see it very well.
I don't have the episode pulled up, and I tried to watch that. It was a little difficult because there was a second hand, an hour hand, and a shadow on the clock, so I wasn't quite able to see. That's kind of how I was, yeah. And to be fair, I was watching it at 1:30 a.m. last night. So, okay, here's my thing. I'm not really ever a fan of this Schrodinger's cat choose your own ending sort of thing. It just kind of strikes me as lazy and non-committal writing. Now those are really harsh words to levy against somebody that I really respect as a filmmaker and as a creator of all sorts of interesting creative endeavors. But that is my take on the ending, that to just not choose oh shit, you know what? No, last week I spoiled Wonder Woman. I'm not going to do that with anything else. There is another famous HBO show that please do not mention that is famous for having a shitty fade to black sort of ending. That's honestly what this felt like to me. Okay, fair enough. I was actually earlier going to say that, so I'm glad that you've now told me not to name that show.
By the way, what did you think about the way that have you listened actually to last week? I know you don't listen back on the episodes quite as frequently as I do.
No, and I haven't heard all the way through it. I listened to the first few minutes of it.
Gotcha.
But I haven't heard all the way through it. Wait, what were you going to ask? How you did
threw in...
Oh, the Wonder Woman spoiler tag?
Yeah, I threw in something, and I can't remember exactly, but there was like some sound notification that came through, like, and then basically me explaining what was about to come with the 2-minute skip forward. I'm curious what people thought of it, because I was pretty proud of the way that it came out, especially because, like, by the time we finished, it was like 11:30 or 11:45, and it was like, I mean, I don't want to ruin anybody's night, but I also don't want to ruin mine by sitting here working on this too long.
So who gives a shit about people's Wonder Woman experience? I forgot 100% that you had done that, and I can't wait to go listen to it while you covered it up. I'm sure you did great.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm hoping you enjoy it. And definitely, seriously, listen to that Better Call Saul first 5 minutes.
I will.
So goddamn funny. Okay, this scene, back to it.
But I liked the performances in the scene.
Me too.
I liked what they were. So I liked Gloria finally getting to say what she wanted to Varga. Varga's final, philosophical concepts. But I'm with you. Like, the ambiguity of what happens, knowing that there's not a, Fargo treats each season like a series, right? So knowing that there's no next, so like, I won't say anything, but you saw the last episode of Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. It ends on a kind of cliffhanger. You can pretty anticipate what's happening, but you also know you're going to get the answer to it next season.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That is got to be how next season starts. Whereas with this one, you don't. It's a completely ambiguous meeting of order and chaos, light and dark, good and evil, whatever you want to call it. And it's just, I said choose your own ending before. That's what it is. Like, you have to decide what you want it to be. And
I want writers to feel comfortable and confident making a statement in
kind
the
end, yeah,
and just saying, here's how this season ends, and like it or not, it's how it ends. And this way makes you go, okay, well, by leaving it ambiguous like that, half the people are going to like it and half aren't.
Yeah,
potentially, because you let people make up what they want to, versus actually just having the balls to make a decision. And I love when something ends with it's complete. And I can feel comfortable with it, even if I didn't agree with the way that it ended.
Yeah, and we don't need like some sort of M. Night Shyamalan plot twist, just something that ties a bow on this bitch, to quote our good friends over at this podcast.
You know what would have been just great is if 5 minutes had gone by and Varga's smile just turned into a straight face. That's it. And you get the sense that what Varga was so confident about didn't happen.
Yeah.
And Gloria won.
And even then, even if it was left a little open-ended, but it definitely is not sitting directly on the fence at the end, that would have been cool. Because what you're saying right there, if it just shows literally the look of smarmy confidence starts slowly wiping off of his face.
Correct.
That would have been saying something. That would have made it seem like it looks like things aren't going to go his way, but we don't know for sure. Stay tuned for season 4 in 2027. Right.
That would have felt great. There would have been interpretation there. We would have had to talk about what that change of facial expression meant, but there's a pretty clear direction and it gives you some satisfaction. Yeah. This didn't.
Okay, so I feel like let's not beat a dead horse. I think that we both said what we liked and disliked about the episode and the season. You humiliated me in front of all my friends, family, and fans. And I think that we've pretty much said all that there is to say. Again, let me say thank you to you for doing the show with me. This was awesome.
You know what show I did like? This podcast. I thought this was
Amen,
great.
Brother. It was a lot of freaking fun. I really enjoyed it. Again, to the fans, very communicative throughout this season. We really enjoyed that. Honest to God, I think I've responded to every single thing that you guys have sent in, addressed a lot of it on air, and that's just the way it's going to be for any show that you write in about. So again, subscribe to the podcast. We just finished up a bunch of stuff. All of our backlog is on the website, but we're also going to be doing Preacher starting next week, Game of Thrones in a few weeks. Jables and I are going to figure out something else to do. Nathan and I got to figure out something else to do because
we got to do something.
But anyway, we love hearing from you guys. If there are other shows you guys would like to see us cover, even if it's just like a season wrap up single episode, let us know and we'll see if we can get it done. So,
Let's do Planet Earth.
I fucking love
You
Planet
me.
Earth, dude. Oh my
You me,
god,
Planet
I
Earth.
love it. It's so good. Honestly, I like putting it on for the kids too. Like, kind of take them away from some of the cartoony garbage that normally fills the halls of the Foxman mansion. But anyway, okay. So thank you again so much for listening, you guys. Nathan, would you like to tie a bow on this season?
Ooh, I like it. Hey, you know what? For Fargo Season 3 and for the last time, see you later. Wait. Oh, shit. I fucked it up. What is next time? What does next time mean? Good. All right, starting over for the last time. See you next time, little buddies. All right, well done. I love it.